Okay. Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to the Employee to Entrepreneur Society. It's Kim Speed, the host of this group, and I am a brand visibility expert. I am a author and a trainer, and I am an entrepreneur just like you. And you know why I love Tuesdays, because we get to speak to a fellow entrepreneur and hear about their journey to become an entrepreneur, their struggles, their successes. And every week I find something that inspires me and motivates me to continue on. And I always learn something that I can use in my business to help me grow. And that's what I hope you get from it too. And today I know you're going to get some great stuff because I'm a guest she is so valuable to so many people that it's amazing, because there are technologies that she's using that can help so many people. So we have today with us Joanne Moorhouse, and Joanne is the owner of Joanne Moorhouse Photography, which is an award-winning global virtual photography company. And she is on a mission to help busy entrepreneurs gain more visibility and impact by proudly sharing their brand story with confidence, I might add, through remote photography. I am so super excited about learning more about this. Joanne is not only a photographer who cares about a visual storyteller, she's also a trusted brand advisor and author of a groundbreaking book, which I didn't even know till today, which is called Remote Stories Around the World. And this, writing this book took her around the world, photographing professionals without even needing a passport or leaving her studio in the UK. Working with Joanne will take you from feeling less confident about who you are and being able to face the camera without being afraid, and proudly show up as the professional you are. Based in England, but with a worldwide reach, she brings her unique remote studio to you regardless of where you are, embracing innovative technologies that give her clients a convenient and fun way to have a professional photo shoot wherever they are. And this is so exciting to me. And I didn't even know it was possible till I met Joanne. And I said, Joanne, you've got to come and tell us about it. So welcome, Joanne. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
So I want to start at the beginning. As much as I want to dive into this technology and how you do this, tell us first and foremost how you even got into photography as a business.
Well, photography has been a love of mine since a very early age. Looking back at old photos, I can see pictures of me when I was around 3 or 4 with toy cameras at the time, and I've pretty much not been without a camera ever since. Most of my photos growing up were family, friends, travels, that sort of thing. And then the latter, while I was working, I would also do freelance work and just use photography for fun on my downtime. And that sort of morphed into having my dream job of having my own photography business that I opened in early 2019. And yeah, I love being able to share photography with others.
Wow. So you've only had this as a business since 2019. What did you do before? Was photography in your life as a business at all, or in?
Well, I did dabble with freelance
Yeah.
photography, so I would help out where needed, but day jobs, various customer service jobs. I trained to be a teacher, so I taught for 10 years and then decided that that wasn't the right career for me. So then I went back and did visual communications. So that was graphic design and photography, some more the creative side, which really fit with who I am. And
Yeah. Yeah. Um, so creativity was always part of your world. Now I know that you when you started your business, were you always, did you start it in the UK?
I did, yes.
Okay, because I know that you've lived abroad and you've been in other places, but now you're back in the UK, and so you started your business in 2019, and tell us how it went. Was it like a success right away, or did you have some struggles? What was the biggest hurdle that you had to overcome?
It was definitely very slow to get going. I opened my business at the same time as working outside full time for an employer. So it was very much evenings, weekends, days off. That's when I would fit in my photo shoots. And so I would network a lot, and there were peaks and troughs, but it was doing okay. And it was my release from the work week because I was in a job at the time that I wasn't overly keen on. So
Right.
yeah, it was my, yeah. And yeah, and then 2020 came along, and that was when I took the leap into a full-time business, a bit sooner than I was ready, but which presented a few challenges, but it was also the factor that really gave me the push to look at what opportunities were out there and really focus and give my business the attention that it needed. And
Right. Now, did you start before the pandemic and the shutdown, or um like in 2020, or and leave your job?
um well, I started my photography in 2019. In 2020 with the first lockdown. That's We had 2 months, I think it was 2 months off. And during that time, I was really focused on working on my business. I was working with some coaches and mentors at the time. And then when businesses started opening back up, I did a lot of serious thought as what do I want to do now? Do I want to go back to this job that's not really what I want to be doing? I've spent all this time working on my business. Do I want to let that go or
Yeah.
just start doing it again weekends? So that was when I made the scary decision to take the leap because I felt it was an opportunity that I couldn't pass up. So I let the day job go and went full on into my business. And
Wow. Now, was your business at the time just photography?
it was, yeah, it was
Okay, let's
brand
just talk.
photography.
Let's just talk about what you just said. Okay, so we go into 2020. Then the pandemic comes along. We are shut down all over the world. You are working on your business. It opens up a little bit, and you decide to go and do photography full time, which is one of the businesses that was really shut down. So how did you manage?
It was it was because at the same time was when I found out about virtual photography, and I did a lot of research and started trying it out on people I knew, and then I started um, offering it to like networks and that I was in to see what the interest was, and there was a lot of interest for it. It was a way that I could help other businesses to keep that visibility when we weren't necessarily able to meet up in person. They
Yeah,
could continue to promote themselves online, and it's just become a an opportunity that is so convenient for our entrepreneurs now that what I thought was going to just cover me during the pandemic and then I'd go back to in person has actually
yeah.
become most of my work, even to this day, is still done remotely, though I do in person if I'm asked.
That is amazing. That is amazing. So uh, did it take a lot of extra equipment, or tell us how this actually works, is virtual photography?
I use a platform that it allows me to connect securely to my clients through their smartphones. So it's similar to if you connect to like an IT person if they're working on your computer. So they send me a secure code that gives me access temporarily to connect and hold the photo shoot. It gives me access to the camera so I can take photos with the using the camera on their phone, and then the microphone so that we can talk throughout so I can help guide them through it.
Yeah.
And all I see on the phone is whatever their camera is pointing at. So I don't have access to anything else on the phones. And then once the session ends, that access ends. And then should we connect afterwards, we go through the process again. They generate a new secure ID.
So it's
And
very secure.
it is.
And so when you're, whatever platform you use to connect, then the photos are going on to or you're collecting them somehow. And so what about the whole, like the creative direction for the shoot? Is it, was that a bit of a challenge to figure out how to do that over the virtual?
It is definitely very different to doing it
Yeah,
in person. In-person sessions, I was used to showing people what I was thinking. With a remote shoot, it's very much verbalized, so I have to get my ideas across verbally. They can't see me, they can only
yeah,
hear me during the session, so it's working in tandem with them. We do a lot of planning beforehand for the sessions, so we both are on the same sort of plan as what our goals are. I ask them to share some video clips with me beforehand as to the look, so I can see the locations that they're thinking of using. So that can help with the planning of, give me some ideas of where might be good locations within.
yeah. That's really interesting. So it must take quite a bit of prep work.
There is a lot of planning, which it goes hand in hand with the confidence with the photography as well, because so many of my clients, the one of the first things they say is, oh, I don't normally like having my photos taken. How will this be different? Or they sort of hum and haw about whether to have a photo shoot because they don't like being in front of a camera.
Yeah,
And it's, with it being done remotely, it takes a lot of that pressure away from, is when you have an in-person session, you have the photographer standing in front of you.
hmm,
They might have an assistant with them. They've got equipment, potentially lights. With a remote session, you're in your own location, whether that's your home, your office, out at a park or wherever you want to have your photo shoot. It's somewhere that you feel comfortable, and it's as if you're just having a phone call with someone, because I'm not standing there at the same location. So it takes a lot of the nerves away, and I'm able to capture the true you in the photos.
right, right. It's fascinating. Um, what about lighting and things like that? Because I'm sure a lot of people that are, getting their photo done don't have any idea, if it's the right lighting or, how do you manage all that?
That's very much in the guidance that I provide beforehand, and then during the session we work almost like a team. Um, I might have them all, pull up the blinds or lower them if it's too bright in the room, or we might bring in some external light, or even move to a different room, to get the lighting as best as we can. I'm also able to adjust the lighting through the app too, so that can help. So I can add flash if needed. And then post edit, I might do some lighting correction too if needed as well.
So whatever you take, then you go and there's like, so there's a lot of pre-work because I'm sure you have to talk about, is this the right setting? Because a lot of people don't realize that's not a good place, or that's too busy, or that's looks bad. Then there's wardrobe, there's lighting. So, so I can imagine how much pre-work there is. And then, you getting them to do a video so you can tell the location. And then I think the actual photo session part sounds like the easiest part.
It is. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like a lot, but we have a very in-depth planning session, and it's kind of all of it combined into that. Plus, I provide all my clients with a guide to help them to answer those questions that they might have, and to help them with ideas of wardrobe, and if they want to incorporate any props into their photos. Those are things that they can look at in their own time to answer any
Yeah.
questions, and then we go
And I
from
guess it depends on what industry they're in, what environment they'll want to be in, as well. And then, if it's industry equipment or things, obviously those things. But then, yeah, do you need to have flowers, or do you need to have, um, decor, like, that makes it look interesting. Yeah, so much to think about, but it's so amazing. And I can see how this could, change the way the whole industry works. You think about, you can be working with somebody on the other side of the world, and it has, like, it doesn't matter as long as you have an internet connection. I'm assuming it has to be internet, not just your
internet or
data.
Wi-Fi, as long as it's strong and the phone they're using is has a decent camera on it. That's all we really need, and then from there it's on me to get the photos right for you.
Right, right. So probably one of the things people could do to prep for something like this would be to actually go through and look at what they like, other pictures that they like.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
do recommend, if people are on Pinterest, for example, you can get a lot of inspiration off of that. You can type in your industry, say professional photo shoot or brand photo shoot, and you'll see lots of examples. Um, they can also look through, I mean, I have photos from my portfolio sprinkled all over my website, and I share them regularly on social media platforms as well, so they can look at that for ideas too.
and we are definitely going to be putting on your website so that people can see, because the photos are amazing. Like, you would never know, that you weren't there in the room with them when those photos were taken. So I'd love to get your your understanding of your premise of your book, remote stories around the world. So how did this come about?
It came about, I was talking with, because I grew up in the States. I was living in Arizona at the time when the pandemic started. And I was talking to a good friend of mine over in Arizona, and we were talking about remote photography. And she threw out the idea, is there some way you could create a calendar of different places around the US? Well, I don't really know how that's going to be possible, because I need to have someone at each location. And,
Right.
we carried on our conversation, and then it was just in the back of my mind. And then over time, the idea of creating a book came out of it. And then it was a challenge to myself almost, to see how many different countries I could successfully do a remote photo shoot in. And then so it's mostly photography within the book, but there's also the stories of some stories of the people that are in it, the places, interesting facts about the locations, as well as the history of remote photography, and what it is. And
I think that's a fascinating sounding book. And is it available on Amazon, or how do you get
it
this?
is it this is the book,
Oh,
and
wow.
it's available on Amazon, paperback, hardback, and now it's Kindle as well.
Oh, amazing. Oh, on Kindle too.
Mhm.
Well, I would love to have a real copy of it. It looks amazing because I can just imagine the quality of that. So I think that would be great. And I love hearing about people and learning about them. So people from all around the world. So how did you find everybody?
Mostly through networks that I belong to. So the majority of them have their own businesses as well. So they got some visibility for their businesses within the book as well out of it. Um, it was, it was mostly through networks and then extended referrals. So, some of the people they would then recommend people that they knew to participate in certain areas that they knew I was looking, because I had quite a lot of people. Like in South Africa, I had quite a lot of people, and then the US, I had quite a lot, but then there were other countries that weren't as represented. So I was able, I know someone who's a travel agent, and she was on holiday in Greece, so we did her a photo shoot in Greece. And then
Oh, nice.
there was, someone I know here in the UK lives part-time in Spain. So when she was in Spain, we did her photo shoot, and
Oh, fantastic. That's
looking
so
for
smart.
opportunities.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. So did you get representation from everywhere?
I think in this version, well, this edition, I have about 11 or 12 countries represented. I am, because once you publish a book, you can't stop. So I will be doing another one, but the next one is taking a little bit of a detour. It's going to be more animal theme for the next one, because um, animals have always been a part of my life. So that's an area that I want to try out in the next edition.
That sounds really interesting too. And I know you've done a lot of animal photography, but animals and people, that'll be a great book. Because animals are like part of the family with people, and um, you can get some great content there. So that'll be fantastic. I love it. I'm looking forward to that one too. So what do you think are the benefits that you would say of remote photography? Like I can like some of them are obvious, but I'm sure that there's others that you could tell us about that we aren't even thinking about.
Well, I mean, apart from the obvious that it's convenient because nobody has to travel, so you're not having to take time out to travel to a location, or travel to a studio that you might not feel comfortable in. The I come to you wherever you are, so it's quicker than an in-person session, because you were just connecting, doing the photo shoot, and you get a lot more accomplished quicker in a remote
Mm,
shoot than you do in person.
right.
So you can get back to, if you're working, you can get back to working quicker, which is
Hmm.
convenient. Another area that I've found benefits is companies whose team members may work remotely. They might have multiple offices that aren't necessarily in the same area. With the remote sessions, they can get that consistent look that they want of all their employees, regardless of location, without having to
Oh,
hire multiple photographers. They just have the one photographer
that's a
with
great
each.
point.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and then, it's more affordable than an in-person session. You don't have all the extra costs associated with venue, location, all that, unless you do want to pick a special venue for your photo shoot.
Sure, you
And
could, that would be totally up to you. But there might be locations that you would choose anyways, right? Like,
mm,
that are available to you.
yeah, I mean,
But
I've had people have photo shoots out on the beach, as long as they've got a
oh,
Wi-Fi
yeah,
connection.
yeah.
Um, it's been an important location to them, so that's where they've chosen to have their photo shoot.
Oh, that's great. I like that. So, cost, time, everything that entrepreneurs are looking for. More time, more money, more freedom to do other things. I like the fact you can get back at But I love that whole, if it's more than just yourself that you want photographed, if you want a team, you're right, you could get a consistent look rather than having different photographers in different locations. That's great. And then do you think that you will continue on? Like, I almost feel like this is your niche. This is your
It is
thing.
very much.
Yeah.
No, I love doing it. I mean, I don't get me wrong, I still love getting my proper camera out and going out to photograph people or places, but I can get so much more done, and it's so fun to be able to connect with people in areas that aren't just down the road. You know, I can be meeting up with someone across the world and photographing them, and it just makes the world feel so much smaller. And
Yeah. Yeah. That's amazing. Yeah. I would love that part of it too, being able to connect with people from all over. Um, and I just think it's amazing how you can have somebody, so skilled and doing this and have it done. Like, as you said, it's not like 100 people around you and feeling uncomfortable. So if you're anyway an introvert, this could be a really good solution as well.
yeah, it's often a lot more discreet. It's People are used to seeing people with their phones, taking pictures
Yeah.
and stuff. Sometimes it will garner attention if they see someone setting up a tripod and there's no one else around. Occasionally, we've had some well-meaning person come up and say, "Oh, would you like me to take a photo for you?" And
Of
person
course, it was
saying, "Oh,
that
I
would be
have someone
natural.
already taking it," and then they went,
Well,
"Where?"
that's so funny.
So it gets
So
interest in that way, but typically they're more discreet sessions, which is good if you're not so confident.
yeah. And have you found that people are surprised at the results?
Definitely.
Yeah.
That is an area that I get questioned a lot, is the quality and the security around it. And it's showing people the examples that I have from previous sessions. And if need be, I get on and do a little taster session with them so they can see how easy it is and what the result will look like,
Yeah.
to make them feel more relieved and understand that this is an option that can work for them.
And I guess too, people can decide whether they want to get, makeup done or
Yeah.
how involved they want to be. I know there's some people that are, no, I want it all natural, or and then other people will say, oh, I need help. Or yeah, you could go and get your makeup done somewhere and then come to your location. And if you needed help from a stylist or whatever, you could get that done ahead of time and have some outfits prepared. Yeah, that's fantastic. I really have enjoyed our conversation today, and I'm totally fascinated with how this is working. Being a creative director and brand and marketing person, I've been doing photo shoots with clients for so long, and just realizing that this can be done through your own phone, like that's what's fascinating, is that you don't even have to send them equipment. It's through their own phone. I'm assuming there has to be a certain, like, it doesn't all have to be one type of phone, right?
No, I've had clients that it's gone back many years. I think I did one on a Samsung 7, which is fairly outdated now, but
Oh,
you
wow.
can
So
different.
you
Yeah,
can
as long as
use,
there's a good camera on it and you can get an internet signal.
oh,
Yeah.
amazing.
And
Yeah,
then work with what you have on location. So if you have a tripod, we use it. If you don't, just grab everyday objects like a coffee mug to prop the phone up, or a box, or stack some books under it just to get the right height. We
right. Yeah.
work with the location to get the shots that we need.
That's amazing. Anyways, thank you so much for joining us and sharing with us all about this. new groundbreaking technology and your creativity. We'll have to make sure that people know how to get your book. You also have a gift for everybody that you're providing, and tell them about that.
I've created a document. It's everything you want to know about headshots and why getting them right really matters. So anybody who wants a copy of that, let me know. Reach out through email or website or social media, and I'll get that over to you. It also has a little offer included within it for those that want to refresh their photos and try a remote session themselves.
That's great. That's amazing. So we'll make sure that we have your email and your website in there. You can also, if you're on in the group and you want to DM Joanne, she's also in the group, so she'll be easy enough to find. And reach out and find out more about this, because I think this could be really, really helpful for a lot of people. And I have to tell you, as entrepreneurs, you all need to get brand photography done. So don't make it difficult. It doesn't have to be now. So reach out to Joanne. Anyways, thank you so much. Thank you everybody for watching, and we'll see you next time in the Employee to Entrepreneur Society. Take care, and
Thank you.
thank you again, Joanne.
Thank you.